Hello and welcome into this week's edition of the NASCAR Xfinity Series Rewind Show right here on Racing News Now. As always, I'm your host, Garth Allen. Thank you once again for joining me today. If this is your first time catching a Racing News Now video, consider going down below and hitting that subscribe button and ringing the bell for notifications so you don't miss a thing going forward from RNN. On today's edition of the Xfinity Rewind, we're looking back at yesterday's 33rd Annual Bar Harbor 200, presented by Sea-Watch International. 200 laps, 200 miles around the 1-mile concrete oval, Dover International Speedway, Dover, Delaware, better known as the Monster Mile. 4 cautions on the day for 23 laps. First 2 of those being the stage break. Stage 1 ended at lap 45 with Christopher Bell taking the Stage 1 victory. Stage 2 concluded at lap 90. Your Stage 2 winner was Daniel Hemrick. Stage 3, we had a couple of incidents. Lap 163, the 45 of Josh Bilicki got into the wall in turn number 4. Final caution of the day was at lap 180 as the 60 of Chase Briscoe, the 4 of Ross Chastain, and the 2 of Matt Tifft got together in turn number 4. 10 lead changes on the day among 6 drivers. Christopher Bell led over half the race, 110 of the 200 laps. 38 laps were led by Cole Custer. 23 laps apiece went to Justin Allgaier and Daniel Hemrick. 4 laps were led by Brandon Jones, and 2 laps went to Spencer Gallagher. All right, so let's get into your results on the day. Christopher Bell picked up the victory, his 6th of the season, a historic victory for C. Bell as he broke Kyle Busch's rookie win record in the Xfinity Series. That record stood at 5 wins from Kyle Busch. Christopher Bell has now broken that and picked up his 6th win of the season. Definitely a career year for C. Bell. Cole Custer came home with a strong 2nd place finish. Justin Allgaier in 3rd, not surprising as this is one of his better tracks. Ryan Preece came home in 4th, and Spencer Gallagher rounded out the top 5. Rest of your top 10 were Brandon Jones, Daniel Hemrick, Austin Cindric, John Hunter Nemechek, and Ryan Truex. 11th through 20th, we see some playoff contenders down here. Elliott Sadler in 11th, Ross Chastain in the 13th position. Unfortunately, was not enough to advance him to the next round of the playoffs. Even after a 2nd place finish in Richmond, 13th at Dover, not quite what he needed to make it to the next round, even with a stage point for finishing 10th in the 2nd stage. Tyler Reddick in the 14th position, he does advance to the next round. Ryan Reed there in the 16th position, also getting eliminated after this race. 21st through 30th, we see the Canadian Alex Labbe down here in the 21st position. And then final page, 31st through 40th, some guys getting into incidents on the day. Everyone on this page not finishing the race for one reason or another. And that's your results from the Bar Harbor 200 from Dover. Now let's head over to the Media Center. We'll see what your top finishers on the day had to say after this one.
I can breathe, and I think Matt feels the same way, especially after what it sounds like he went through the last few restarts. But all in all, I mean, a really, really solid executed day. It's exactly what we needed. Got stage points in every round. Was probably a little conservative on my racecraft and my car setup, but all in all, it's exactly what we needed. And I get a week off to breathe and go have some fun with some Mustangs in Atlanta next weekend, and go back to clawing and scrounging and trying to figure out how to make it into the Final Four.
Matt?
For us, it was a bit of a struggle all day. We just didn't have the car we needed and what we had here in the spring. So we kind of got ourselves back in the hornet's nest some, starting those restarts on the outside. We just could not go, and it put us back in a bad spot. And, with a little bit to go there, we got in a situation we were behind, kind of in the mix with some lap cars. They were fighting for the lucky dog, and we had the 4 behind us and got underneath the 60, and he went through us there, and luckily was able to save it, thank goodness, and we got a couple more spots there at the end to get ourselves back in position. But really we've had a really good first round with a lot of good speed, and today just was hopefully our mulligan day of the playoffs. But I was glad that we were able to push and get ourselves in and have a clean slate, because it was a little bit more stressful than we wanted at the end for sure.
Cool.
Yeah, I mean, this whole round for us was pretty stressful, honestly. I mean, after Richmond, I thought, I was pretty worried, honestly, because we had the Roval, which we had no idea what to expect, and then we had this track, which was absolutely horrible for us at the spring race. So I was pretty worried these last 2 races, but I think our team did an awesome job, doing what we needed to do at the Roval, and then this race we made our car 10 times better. So I think that's a testament to our team, and I think this next round is going to be a lot more of our strong suit, going to some more 1.5 miles and stuff like that. So I'm looking forward to it, and just ready to go.
I think that's the bottom line. Just execution has gotten a lot better, and I don't know, to say that our race cars have gotten better, that we were really good at the beginning of the year. Let's be honest, though, not having a bunch of Cup guys in there is definitely helping us. But, we've won races with the Cup guys in it, so I think it's just all coming together. So that's really good, and, my race cars have been really fast. So just really thankful to be driving for Joe Gibbs Racing with these fast race cars, because a race car driver, especially at this level, is only as good as his race cars. So I'm sitting in one of the best race cars in the garage, and I'm very thankful for that.
And then is this now your championship to lose?
I don't really think it's any of our championships to lose. It's bottom line, it all boils down to one race. And then if you look further into that, it boils down to the last pit stop. Do you execute on the last pit stop? Is your last restart good? Are your final 10 laps good? If it's a short run, you got to have short run speed at Homestead. So it all boils down to one run at Homestead to decipher who the champion is. So I don't really think anybody is a clear-cut favorite, and we won't know that till about lap 100 at Homestead who the favorite is.
And we'll take a look at your playoff grid before wrapping up here today. And with Dover being an elimination race, we have now eliminated 4 drivers from the Xfinity Series playoffs. 8 remain. Ross Chastain, Brandon Jones, Ryan Truex, and Ryan Reed all getting eliminated after Dover. So we have reset with 3,000 points plus any accumulated playoff points. That puts Christopher Bell back at the top of the heap with 3,044 points. He sits 5 points above Justin Allgaier, and then it is a big drop down to Daniel Hemrick. In third, he's only 2 points above the cutoff, as the next time we eliminate, it is for the Championship 4 to go to Homestead. Probably going to take a win in this round to advance to the next round. I don't think we really have to worry about Christopher Bell or Justin Allgaier. I think they're pretty good on playoff points, although Justin Allgaier did have a scare in this first round, so it may not necessarily be Justin Allgaier having as big of a cushion as it looks like he does. Cole Custer, Elliott Sadler, they're tied at the cutoff, and then only a point back to Tyler Reddick. And then Matt Tifft and Austin Cindric have some work to do because they don't really have very many playoff points. Matt Tifft only with 3 playoff points, Austin Cindric with 1. So they're in kind of a hole to start this round. It's not a huge hole. It's definitely a hole they can get out of, especially with a win. A win erases any hole you might be in. But if Matt Tifft and Austin Cindric don't win in this round, it might be slightly difficult for them to make the Championship 4. We'll have to see how that plays out over the next 3 races. But that is your playoff grid following the Bar Harbor 200 at Dover. And that will do it for us for today's NASCAR Xfinity Series Rewind show. We had a K&N Pro Series East Rewind go up earlier for their race at Dover yesterday, as well as an ARCA Rewind for their race last night at Lucas Oil Raceway. Then we got a Cup Rewind coming up later today for their race probably happening right now, depending on when this gets uploaded. Also from Dover. And then, of course, pole position coming up tomorrow night, Monday night, 8 p.m. to recap all of those races, plus F1 from Suzuka. So, a big weekend here for RNN. If you aren't subscribed, you probably missed out on the interviews that we did yesterday from the Lucas Oil Raceway at the ARCA race. Had a great time chatting with all of our favorite drivers there from the ARCA Racing Series, most of the big names in the series. We definitely had plenty of time to do it with the rain happening. This race was moved for rain, and then it rained again yesterday. Did get the race in, but it wasn't without getting a little wet at one point in the day. So if you're not subscribed, you need to be. Go down below, hit that subscribe button, ring the bell for notifications so you don't miss a thing going forward from RNN. and you won't miss any of that. We've got some big plans coming up for Kansas in a couple weeks, so you will definitely want to be subscribed for that so you don't miss it. And hit that big thumbs up button if you like the video. It is much appreciated when you do. So with that, this has been the NASCAR Xfinity Series Rewind Show. I'm Garth Allen for Racing News Now.